everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on The Flash, issue 23.2 Comic Review. Now, as you know, this issue is meant to tell the origin of Daniel West when he became the Reverse Flash. And keep in mind, in some of the issues, was meant to build up Daniel West becoming the Reverse Flash, and I think looking back at it, it was kind of clear that Daniel West was always going to become a more darker counterpart to Barry Allen. And the cover has Reverse Flash shooting out shards of black metal, and the story starts off at Keystone Nursing Home with basically Daniel West saying, "My name is Daniel West, and I can barely remember the last time I was happy. But that's about to change. I'll show you now." And he points out about going to the nursing home and confronting his father, William, and after getting sprayed with coffee in his face, he ends up becoming the Reverse Flash and saying, "You've thrown your last cup of coffee on me, Dad," and points about wanting to kill him, leaving his father shocked at basically what he's become, and ends up breaking the cup with him looking in the blood of his hands. So he plans to basically go back in time and get rid of him. So we're also introduced to back at the invasion with the guerrillas, how Daniel West got out of prison, ended up being boarded on the bus, and eventually was saved by the Rogues, who ended up using them for profit to give them cash, jewels, wallets, and phones, but Daniel West didn't agree, and this left the Rogues trying to blast him while he's trying to escape. And of course, they tried to use ice, fire, and mirror tricks, but ends up getting sucked into one of Mirror Master's mirrors. And as soon as he falls in, he sees the people he hated, loved, and the nemesis he gained, Barry Allen, and ended up crashing into the middle of the desert, and ends up fusing with the destroyed monorail, and at the same time finds out he has the ability to turn back time, and at the same time gained powers similar to Barry Allen, and found out that there were other speedsters that he's going to use as a battery. And turns out the day before he made his big break doing armed robbery, he wanted to tell Iris the good news. But it's clear that Iris doesn't want anything to do with him, as she expected Daniel to be a bit more responsible and try and move forward from the past. And even says how she missed his birthday, but does say that she had college and other stuff to do. And does say to Daniel to, talk to Dad, and also basically to say, move on from things. And I can kind of get where Iris is saying, but sometimes people can't be motivated too much. So we're shown how Daniel and his team basically make their big break by robbing a bank, and this was back in issue 0 when the Flash started out. And we're even shown back at Daniel's childhood how Daniel was always kind of like the lone wolf and always had crickets for friends, but his dad didn't like it and poured coffee in it, and this kind of caused Daniel to be pushed over the edge. And with his father saying, "Your mother never liked crickets," and of course this kind of pushes Daniel more and more down the deep end, and of course William does mock him, and Daniel does something stupid by throwing him down the stairs, and of course Iris says, "Daniel, what did you do?" And of course Iris is left to sort of try and get Daniel to come back, but Daniel knows that this was kind of the last straw, and is left to cry in the middle of the woods. And we're kind of shown behind the West's home, either long before, where Iris does try to talk with Daniel, and Daniel's shocked that his dad hit her again, but she does try to say to him that it's not your fault, and that it's basically the fact that he's just had it hard, and the fact that since their mum died before Daniel was born, who was very sick, they were just lucky he survived. I kind of feel Iris is using this as an excuse to justify their dad's behaviour. And of course, she does say that she does care about him. And of course, they leave off to kind of see Dad. But of course, Daniel's scared. And as soon as they open the door, they see that Reverse Flash, who's meant to be the future Daniel, is kind of wanting to kill their father, with Barry Allen's Speed Force being drained from him. And this was continued in Flash issue 24. So, overview, I think this issue is a bit of a hit and miss. I kind of feel Iris does come off as a bit selfish and hypocritical. I get it, she's trying to justify her father's behaviour, but keep in mind that he did kind of push Daniel over the edge. But I get it, she's trying to help Daniel be a better person, but sometimes trying to expect from someone isn't always going to work. So I think the issue deserves a thumbs in the middle. Kind of alright, but kind of okay. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.